still live? Okay, welcome back to the program. All righty. It is Monday, the 13th of April, 2026, and lots of stuff to talk about. I'll be jumping around the news today. It's not going to be regionally focused like I normally do when I start with South Africa, work my way around. There'll be some Hungary news in here, some Ireland news, some Arabian Gulf news. It's back and forth. So welcome back to the program. If someone could give me a thumbs up in the chat that they can hear me okay, because again, I'm not in the studio. I can't hear what I'm saying on the broadcast, so I need to go off what you say so people aren't sitting here listening to me not saying anything with silence. So give me a thumbs up. All right, there you go. Sharon gave me a thumbs up. Thank you very much for that. Well, let's start off our news today. Please hold any refugee questions till the end if you want to do that. This is not a refugee broadcast, but rather my news broadcast. On the 15th of September, 2022, 3.5 years ago, the European Union arrogantly voted 433 to 123 with 28 abstentions that Hungary had become a hybrid regime of electoral autocracy. This is what the arrogant asshats in Brussels said about Hungary 4 years ago. But a funny thing happened on the way to reality, ladies and gentlemen. Specifically, Viktor Orban lost after 16 years in government. And guess what happened when Viktor Orban lost? The army didn't march out of the barracks. The illiberal democracy didn't impede the results. They didn't try to stuff the ballot boxes in Hungary. Viktor Orban quickly held a press conference and conceded his loss, like any good politician would do, and accepted his defeat. And it was an overwhelming defeat in the parliament. My goodness. My goodness. But, of course, the left is out marching the fascist Barack Hussein Obama, who unconstitutionally spied on American journalists, whose extrajudicial murder of American citizens in Yemen, who illegally used the Internal Revenue Service to attack his political opponents, with Lois Lerner denying tax-exempt status to groups that were conservative, whose line in the sand led to the slaughter and massacre of thousands of Yazidi Christians in Syria and Iraq, who enriched the terror state of Iran with hundreds of millions of dollars and pallet loads of cash shipped to the mullahs so that they can murder Israelis and murder others, has hailed Orban's loss as a victory for democracy. The fascist, race-hustling Barack Hussein Obama has hailed Viktor Orban's loss as a victory for democracy. Would he have hailed Viktor Orban's win as a victory for democracy? No. Just like all the asshats sitting in Brussels sucking money from the teats and the taxpayers of Europe, he would have said, oh, it's just, once again, evil. No, the reality here, ladies and gentlemen, is that Viktor Orban has lost, and he conceded, and he walked away, just like is expected. But the left and the media all over the world, and the likes of Barack Hussein Obama, try to pretend that he was illiberal. Well, he really wasn't as illiberal as they made him out to be. All right, he walked away. Well, Fidesz, his party, had 135 seats in the Hungarian parliament. Now they'll have just 55. It's a total shellacking, a total whitewashing. And of course, the media tries to portray this as, well, a Trump. He's been endorsed by Trump and he's lost. They sent J.D. Vance and this is a loss for conservatives and for the right wing. No, it's not. After 16 years in power, everyone should go. I think we all had enough of Helmut Kohl after 16 years, didn't we? And his biggest mistake, Angela Merkel. Voters want to change after so long. That's another reason why the ANC is so unpopular. People are just tired of their excuses. My people want results. They're tired of excuses. The opposition party, led by Magyar, which is a great name for Hungarian politicians, since that's Hungarian for Hungary. Magyar, his party, Tisza, has 138 seats in the new parliament, more than Orban had on his way out the door. Meanwhile, Ursula von der Leyen says Hungary has chosen Europe. I don't think so. I think Hungary has chosen a different path that isn't necessarily Europe. And if Hungary has chosen Europe, they do so at their own detriment. Hungary was ostracized for denying criminal alien invaders a path through their country, destroying, leaving their rubbish, attacking, robbing people. They stopped them at the gates, while the likes of Angela Merkel and the surrender monkeys in France and the leftist fascists in the UK and the Tories themselves. Yeah, I know it's pronounced Magyar, but I say Magyar. At least I don't say Lesotho. Thank you, Hendo. Anyway, but it's Hungarian for Hungary. So the guy's named after the country. Yeah, anyway, those surrender monkeys, Orban stopped that garbage in Hungary and saved Hungarians. Ireland, Sweden, Germany, the UK, France, all leftist retards have all hailed the victory for the political left. Of course they have. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom and NATO allies have refused to join President Trump's blockade. Fair enough, a blockade is an act of war. So I understand that they're surrender monkeys and that they would prefer to let their citizens starve or freeze to death without having any petroleum, which they desperately need from the Gulf. They'd rather let their population suffer. Just look at Ireland. Well, President Trump did his best to piss off Christians and fundamentalists over the weekend. First, he attacked Pope Leo, and personally I have no objections to that. The Pope is an intruding, arrogant, asshat pontiff who sticks his nose in America's business yet again. He should be focusing more on his flock and starving Catholics. Catholics being murdered in Nigeria should be a priority for him, not attacking President Trump. So the asshat from the Vatican can go home. But Trump attacked him. I have no beef with that. Trump basically said the only reason this guy is a pontiff because he was low on the list is because, well, they wanted someone that could attack Trump. Well, I don't disagree with that. The Catholic Church is corrupt. It's always been corrupt. It's been corrupt forever. Forever. Well, Boss Deborah, we got a long way to go to 200,000. We're going to need some big spark to do that. If civil war breaks out in South Africa, we'll get 200,000 subscribers. But short of that, I'm not asking for civil war in South Africa, but I am asking for an event. Get away, Bumblebee, that will take us up. And that is not a transformer, that Bumblebee. All right. So Pope Leo says he has no fear of Donald Trump. Well, dude, you shouldn't fear him. You live in a lap of luxury in the Vatican with all the conveniences you want. He's closing down state media to ensure neutral news. All righty. President Trump has fired all 6 board members from the trust that oversees the Presidio of San Francisco. Lisa Petri, a spokesman for the Presidio Trust, said, "We have a long history of wonderful leaders serving the Presidio, and we look forward to welcoming and working with the new members." Well, that's a fine statement, but a long history? Ladies and gentlemen, the Presidio of San Francisco was a military installation from the date the Spanish established it in 1776 until it was foolishly turned over in 1994. 219 years. That's a long history. The Presidio Trust has only been around for 30 years. They're responsible for 1,500 acres, and they have 9.5 million annual visitors to the Presidio. Nancy Pelosi was instrumental in helping create the Presidio Trust. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it, Eric Fang Swalwell has withdrawn from the California gubernatorial race over sexual misconduct allegations. Democrats are seeking to rig the system they've already rigged. The way the system is set up, it's a scam. It's not democracy. It's a theft of democracy. Taking the top 2 vote getters from both primaries, whoever gets the top 2 votes, and putting them as the candidates in the fall has ensured that only Democrats would be elected governor to that corrupt, fascist, liberal, leftist state, which was once a conservative bastion until the 1980s. And then it turned after 88. But California, because of illicit, illegal immigration, big role in that. So so if the Democratic primary has someone with 23% and 19%, and the highest percentage behind that for Republican is 15%, well, guess what? They're not going to be there. So the Democrats are trying to rig this. Most likely a Democrat will get 40% and a Republican might get 50%. That'd be the top 2 vote getters. That means a Democrat and Republican. Because there's more Democrats in California by twice as many as Republicans now, it pretty much guarantees a Democrat will run. Swalwell was dividing that vote so that the Republicans, between Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, they both were the leading vote getters in a poll. And by taking Swalwell out, they've reduced one of the competition. Watch the Democratic Party attempt to push or convince or bribe other people to leave the party so that the top 2 vote getters are Democrats. That's why Swalwell is expendable. He's also got an arrogant attitude. Remember, he's Fang, the guy that slept supposedly with a Chinese spy. While he was married, nonetheless, I guess. Anyway, but Democrats are pushing him out. More than 50 former Swalwell staff members have called on him to withdraw from the race, and he did so last night around 8 o'clock in the evening here. Oil has briefly surged back to over $100 a barrel today on the imposition of a blockade against Iranian ships. Iran says the U.S. blockade of vessels through their ports is an illegal act of piracy. No, it's not. Let me educate the theocrats in Tehran. A blockade is not an act of piracy. You're morons. A blockade is an act of war. You got that? An act of war. When a country imposes a blockade, that is a provocative, belligerent military action. That is an act of war. Therefore, the United States and Iran, although it's undeclared, are at war. Iran's war against us is declared, but Congress has failed to declare war, the Senate, for 47 years. So it's not an act of piracy. It is an act of war. Obviously, they don't understand common sense, so I thought I'd share that. Meanwhile, the Irish government has caved to the manufactured outrage over a mere 20% hike in the price of fuel. Perhaps you should be more outraged at how much tax money the Irish government takes from your pocket with every liter of petrol or diesel, instead of whining about prices going up for a necessary conflict to eliminate a dangerous nuclear threat in the hands of terrorists. There was no outrage from these same Irish farmers and truck drivers and citizens when the price of oil, the price of barrel of oil went from $52 a barrel when Trump left office to $120 a barrel several months later because of the rainbows and unicorn green fantasy and the destruction that Joe Biden wrought on foreign policy. The entire world. The price of oil rose by 120%. The price of petrol rose considerably. We went from $1.87 a gallon in Pennsylvania to $6 a gallon. And there was no manufactured outrage over that. No one was dancing in the streets or blocking the streets, O'Connell Street in Dublin, or blocking the ports in Limerick when the prices increased from that by 120%, but a mere 20% because there's war, because it's convenient, because stupid people are sheep. They're easily led and easily convinced to do stupid things. I have no problem with them protesting the price of fuel, but they should be protesting the taxes applied to the petrol, not the price of petrol. Take the taxes off and it'll be dirt cheap. There's a police helicopter flying up there. I guess they're looking for me. Down here, boys. So that's manufactured outrage. Manufactured outrage. No justification for it whatsoever. Meanwhile, the government caves, offering a 505 million euro cut in taxation, which leads to a 10% reduction per liter on diesel and petrol. And most people grousing that doesn't mean anything. That's effective at midnight Tuesday. And a carbon tax increase. See, that's the thing. They're upset about Trump, but the prices were going to go up anyway because the Irish government is beholden to the green fantasy. And therefore, they were imposing an additional carbon tax on petrol starting in May. But now they're going to push that back to October. All nonsense. There's a band playing over here, some event taking place. So this is all manufactured outrage. Manufactured outrage. RT, the Irish broadcaster, reports that all major routes were reopened and now cleared in Ireland. Djibouti's presidential race took place over the weekend, and President Ismail Omar Guelleh claimed a landslide victory for a sixth term. He only received 97.81% of the votes cast. Yeah, democracy is such a great thing. 97.81%. This is just a dictator for life. Benin also held elections on Sunday, 4 months after an attempted coup, a failed coup. Finance Minister Wadajini is expected to win that race when the votes are tallied. Here in the United States, a judge has tossed President Trump's defamation lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal, a $10 billion lawsuit for defamation. Because he's a public figure, the standard is higher. And Judge Darren Gallis said that Trump had not plausibly alleged that the defendants published the article with actual malice. As a private citizen, if they publish something that defames you, you can sue them. But as a public figure, you have to prove that they intended to harm you. Well, of course, CNN and the Wall Street Journal intended to harm Donald Trump. Now, Trump can refile the lawsuit, which he will do most likely, because the lawsuit and the judgment tossing it out was on that basis. It wasn't on the basis of whether the article was true, which it wasn't. It was yellow journalism, or whether it was defamatory. It was defamatory. It was yellow journalism, it was defamatory, but those things didn't come into play. They were not considered for this. All right. So Trump's lawsuit for $10 billion against Fox News and against Rupert Murdoch and against Wall Street Journal has been tossed out. Trump has upped the ante with the blockade supposed to have started 2.5 hours ago now. I don't have an update. I looked and searched the news, couldn't find anything about the blockade other than 2 Iranian ships that slipped through before the blockade went into effect at 10 Eastern Standard Time this morning here in the U.S. But the Iranians' ships near the blockade will be eliminated, Trump said. Woohoo, that's some strong language here. President Trump said that the ships near the blockade, Iranian, will be eliminated, whatever that means. CENTCOM's got some work to do there. And as I said, 2 Iranian tankers slipped through before the blockade went into effect. So now 2 million barrels of oil per day from Iran are at risk here. Iran has also said that if their ports are attacked or their ships are attacked, they will attack all the ports in the Gulf. South Africa tells Elon Musk to footsec. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent Magwenya, the presidency, the spokesman in the Office of Presidency, basically told Elon Musk and Starlink to piss off. Now, I should note that ICASA continues to maintain that Starlink has never filed an application, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm not surprised that they have not filed an application. Why bother? You're not going to give your equity to people based on skin color. That's racist. Magwenya said there are currently 193 member states in the United Nations. Okay, there's good money to be made out of 192 markets. It's okay to move on. Well, I suggest to Vincent Magwenya it's okay to move on and stop being a suckler off the taxpayer teat and get a job that contributes to society out there that does something productive for a change. It's basically a 30% equity heist. Now, here's the thing, folks. Starlink can take a different approach, and they've offered to do it. And that approach is the equity equivalent investment programs, another grifting, race hustling way to shake down corporations. Multinationals, unlike South Africans, can give 25% of the value of their local business to employment equity schemes, programs and skills development, small, medium enterprises, all black, of course. No one else qualifies for this, just black South Africans. But Starlink is actually pledged to provide the equipment and hook up 5,000, God, that's a loud truck, to hook up 5,000 rural schools, which are occupied predominantly by black South Africans. They've offered to do that, but the ANC doesn't want that. They don't want educated, informed, literate population. They want ignorant sheep. That's what they want. Now, Julius Malema has launched an urgent defamation lawsuit against Kenny Kunene after his appearance on Maze G's podcast, where he claimed that Malema was beholden to the late taxi boss Mswazi Mzibi. And also another lawsuit for an urgent interdiction on a claim that he and his wife are getting divorced. Why would you get divorced? Why would he get divorced? I mean, he's got the best of both worlds. He gets to run around race hustling while he sticks his schlong in white women, a little side piece, his small houses, and he stays married. What's the problem? What's the problem, Juju? Yeah, busy banging white chicks, apparently, according to some sources. I don't know. I've not been there. That would be a sight I couldn't behold. Julius Malema engaged in coitus would be a shocking sight I wouldn't want to see. Yeah, I picture him with a fleshmate or something like that. Anyway, yeah, they're jeopardizing their children's futures because they do not care. There are a couple people buying Starlink packages from Botswana. Well, Paula, there's a lot of people, or Paulo, excuse me, there's a lot of people doing that with Zimbabwe connections or Mozambique connections, but it's illegal. And if you get caught, they'll fine you severely. And Elon Musk, they turned it off for a while. I don't know if it's still possible. Don't think we would have Starlink if Elon was still in South Africa. No, we wouldn't have that. He would never have had a chance to succeed. Easier to control stupid brains. Yep. And that's my news for today, folks. Rather quickly got through it. When I'm on the road, I don't have my computers in front of me, so I can just pull some stories up that are relevant. They want to stop their racist ways, and Starlink can help Southern economy so much. Yep, you're right, Debbie. How can they say that's Elon Musk? Because they're arrogant and because he's white, so they can be as racist as they want and as rude and disrespectful to Elon Musk as they want. There's no consequences to being a racist towards a white South African. The only time the South African Human Rights Commission is concerned is that when they're forced to respond or when it's a white South African. That's when they take action. Rookie mistake by Elon. He tried to improve internet connections. Apparently, he forgot the most important one, the corruption connection. Well, he's not going to do that. We do a live for the Juju sentencing. I don't know, Pizza Party. I think it's 9 a.m. I'll try. It's on Thursday at 9 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. What did Trump just post on Truth Social, Chuck? See, that really doesn't help me. I can't see Truth Social from my phone. Spook says Gemblick says I'm the Boy Meister Whisperer. Okay. And what else we got here? Okay. Always snazzy. Yeah, I'm wearing a suit today. My buddy lives in Ireland, so far not that bad. He lives still. There was a third of the petrol stations were out. They were out of petrol a couple days ago, but it'll be fine now. Only 20% of the world's oil passes through Hormuz. See the tanker rush to the Gulf of America. Yeah. Only 20% of the oil comes through there, but almost none of it's needed by America. We don't get our oil from that region anymore. We're self-sufficient. We're the world's largest energy producer, largest oil producer by far. A few million barrels a day, more than the Saudis. Boy, I can barely see my screen because it's the light out here. How do I do that? Adjust my screen. The chat just went crazy. Noisy trucks. Okay. Getting kind of warm, this jacket. Chris Wyatt, if you deleted Teek's comment about, God bless it, why is the screen so dim? My battery's fine. It's ridiculous. Let me see if I can't get this thing up here. There we go. Let me get the screen bright. Oh, screen brightness is up all the way. Okay, it says max. Oh, let me see if that'll go. Okay, it won't let me do that. Okay, anyway, so I guess I'm stuck with this because the light out here. Teek is posting that thing about, your tickets, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with him doing that. That doesn't mean you're approved. All right, has been leaving comments and made videos in your Facebook response to videos. Please be careful. It all seems very suspicious. We worry about repetition. Anonymous Angel, I'm aware that she posted that. All right, so I made a video last night explaining all that. I need time to digest that, and it's not going to happen the next couple days, okay? Hey, Loretta. Ascom apparently gave 2 companies electricity 63 cents. We pay 4 rand per unit. Wow. Will it now become the Strait of America? I hope not. We don't want that. We deliver uncapped internet, and with the new law, we cannot get a new license. There you go. See? It's just racist. Just racist. This utter nonsense from the ANC. God bless it. It's hard to see. It's crazy. Well, the petrol price may drop, but that's because the government controls the price. They said it. I've heard people say that ships are diverting from Iran to America. Well, thank you, Heidi. I clean up nicely. Wait till you see me shaved. Okay. It's too much. It's getting warmer out here, even though it's overcast. Now the sun's trying to peek out, so it's starting to get a bit warmer. Let's take off the jacket. Man. I've got to do something about the screen because I just cannot see. Why is it on this auto thing? I don't want it maximized, auto maximized. Why is it doing that? It doesn't give me an option. It won't let me. Oh, that's very annoying. Anyway, very annoying that I can't change that. I don't know how I do that now. I can't adjust it from out here. Nancy shocked when confronted with principled individuals. Yep. See, that's the thing. Vincent Monguenia should have said, Elon Musk's allegations are serious and we're going to look into them. Instead, he acted like a 6-year-old. Why don't you go elsewhere? Foot sick, Elon. Oh my gosh. Why do you want to be here? We kicked you out already. We sent the boys to bully you when you're in Pretoria. Didn't you learn your lesson, Elon? Go away. Go away, Poindexter. We don't want your trillions of dollars here. We want our people to starve and be uneducated and suffer. Suffer. Yep. They're afraid of Starlink. Elon enters Starlink through the actual competition. Yep, well, because Starlink will go from one success to another. Yeah, Pat Meister, things are interesting. They're always interesting. It's a good time to be alive. You like the background music? Well, hopefully it doesn't cause me a freaking copyright strike. I don't like it at all. There's an event going on over here. Why the band is playing. Off with the beard. What about my mic? Oh, my mic is down here. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the mic went with the jacket. Sorry about that. All right, is that better? All right, sorry. Just hot out here. Is that better? Let me just jump ahead. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right. Not a senior moment. I just took my jacket off. It's hot. It's overcast, but it's hot wearing that jacket. But thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Silly me. This jacket is a slim fit. All you people attacking me, calling me, talking about my sugar, my blood pressure, my heart, and all that stuff. This is a slim fit jacket. A slim fit. Yeah. Well, that's because the microphone's right in front of me here. Slim fit. All right. Oh, now I'm chilly. You can't win. All right, bring your refugee questions. It was just soft. Okay. All right. Well, that's because it was under the jacket. The jacket was covered up. So it also has that little fluffy thing on it for the wind. Anyway, hey, Hank, what's going on? All right, the band quit making noise now. So anyway, things are going well on this end. Tomorrow, I need to get a hold of Verushka. Tomorrow morning is the one morning I can actually go to, if she's still in the hotel, go and see her and do an interview with her. Okay, and we should have some news and updates about how things are going for Verushka tomorrow. Hopefully, she's available and she's still in the hotel tomorrow morning. I have to write to her and find out. Yep. Last night I met with Nicole Weppener from Marble Life, and we talked about jobs for South Africans. They have 38 locations around the country. Now, I did a video famously on this a few months ago when she informed me, but I didn't know anything about Marble Life or about Nicole. I also didn't realize Nicole is actually a refugee. Yep. She suffered unjust racial persecution in the past. She shared some of that with me. And she talked about how they wanted to come over here, but they couldn't get over. Refugee question. I did see President talk about status. Are President Trump still keeping them refugee program? Well, it's not up to President Trump. It's up to the contracting officer. Watch that video, Colonel. It brings hope. Which video brought hope? Which video brought hope? Which one are you talking about there, Cranberry? Which video? Because Taiwan is still recognized by Swaziland. It's the only country in Africa, I believe, that still recognizes Taiwan. Canada, can you stay with them while under the program? No, you can't. You can't stay in Canada, Peter. I answer the question. You can't. You can't stay in Canada. It's not the United States. You can't stay there. You want to be a refugee in Canada, then ask the Canadians for refugee status. But you can't be a refugee in Canada. You're in America. Professor SG is right when you get generic replies. I don't know. I didn't see the whole video. Waiting for them to phone back an appointment, Pretoria. Okay, they're professional, says Grok Matrix. See my email, but no. Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about, bugs. Oh, most of my videos bring hope, says Red. Okay. Bring up the website issue in last night's Nows. I just saw it now. I sent you a letter to explain because I saw your Facebook post. Thank you, Colonel. All right, look, African American. Again, as I said, people freak out. Okay, she's here now, so let's deal with this while she's here. She contacted me in June of last year, along with thousands of other people. I came across a message, and she said she was going to build a site to help people sort through this. And I said, okay. And then I heard from her again in October. She sent me lots of other messages, like many people do, but I never saved her name in my address book, so all it comes across is +27. I don't know who that is, +27. I've got thousands of those messages. So she wrote to me in October, and I saw it. I happened to see it again. And when I was going through messages, and she said something about a website about maybe me being a director. And I said, well, I'm not familiar with that site, and that's kind of where it ended. And then she did send me an email this week before she went live, but I didn't see that email because it's buried under hundreds of others that came in that same day. So she had contacted me twice. I guess maybe she contacted Hendo, I don't know. But the confusion came from the way the site appears. And let me be clear about this, and that's what I was in my video. It appears to the uninformed, which I was, that there's a charge for the website. Oh, here comes the sun. For the website, but it's not that. It's to verify, but I don't understand that. Maybe that's just to raise funds to pay for the server. Okay, but you got to be upfront about that. That if you were, it wasn't obvious to people. And the other part of the problem is that it implies to the viewer that Professor G and I are involved with this site and that we've endorsed it. That's not the case. So not that I have anything against the site, not that I'm for or against it, but I have to be very judicious about this. This is why I've never formed an NGO. This is why I have not endorsed any products. I mean, I could be making money. I have a very loyal audience. If I say drink Starbucks and I advertise and they pay me for it, some of you go there, get a discount and buy Starbucks, and I'll make a whole bunch of money. Micro-influencers, which my channel is slightly larger than micro-influencer, usually that's 10 to 75,000 subscribers, but mine's 125,000. So technically I can still be considered a micro-influencer. They are where the growth is now. and the money is going to micro influencers. We've got people making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing influencing. Well, I could do that, but I haven't done that because my reputation is what matters. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, guess what? The best burger in the world is McDonald's. That's horseshit. It tastes like dog food. Well, I don't know what dog food tastes like, but I'm guessing. Anyway, I'm not gonna shill for something. I mean, if it's something I believe in, I'll do it. But the things I believe in aren't doing ad campaigns. Anyway, so back to this story. So it gives people the impression that we endorse this, and that wasn't the case. I didn't even know that it was live. So here's the problem, folks, and this is a lesson for everybody out there. Sending a message or sending an email does not mean you communicate with somebody. All right? Let's be clear about that. Everyone should understand that an action passed is not an action completed, okay? I hate that about so much of the modern world. So many times over the past 20 years, people have sent an email and said, well, I sent you an email. Yeah, and I have 5,800 emails this week. Which one was it? Okay? Unless you communicate with someone, preferably voice, and these days with video, you haven't really communicated. Sending a message is not communication, all right? Because you don't know if the person's seen or act on it. So anyway, so that's where that's at. So she's a big supporter of my channel, and I'm grateful. The nice things she said on there, but it was confusing to me and to other people. And I got inundated with a whole bunch of, are you part of this? Why are you charging people? I mean, what are you talking about charging anybody anything? I have nothing to do with it. I don't know anything about it. I'm not saying positive, not anything negative. Same thing with Marble Life. When they asked me to tell people about jobs, you watch the video. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not slamming it. I'm just telling you these people contact me. They have a legitimate website. They say they have jobs. If you're a South African refugee, they would like to hire you. Contact them. And they got 85 people contact them from that video. And they've already hired like 22 people. So, anyway, back to this. So, all right. Thank you for not taking offense. I realize that probably it's something you would have freaked out about. Latest one to want South Africans join. I want to be, at least be wanted somewhere. Okay. Oh, well, they've already hired South Africans, Heidi. They've hired 22 South Africans. A bit taller than most of us, Kurt. I believe the program is accelerating. I can mail you some personal experience info I think a couple of us can attest. That's fine, Pat. You can feel free to send me something. Yeah, Church World Service has been taking Trump to court since last year. This isn't new. This is not new, ladies and gentlemen. Church World Service is taking Trump to court, along with a bunch of other leftist, hate-wanking, anti-American, scumbag, fake religious people of faith institutions. They're all fake, the way they behave. They've been suing Trump since last year when he froze the program, and they have no legal standing, so it's bullshit. Harrisonburg, Virginia, looking at the videos, love it. Okay, well, good luck with Virginia. It's becoming a leftist haven. Orientation online in person. I don't have the answer for you on that. It's been done both ways. Hendo says, contacted you as well, but lost the messages. Okay, what are you asking? Okay, oh my gosh. Philip, are you actually asking if single people come over? I didn't see your question, and I can't scroll back. Are you actually asking? Because you're asking if single people come over. I just did an interview with a single person, 2 this week. One with Ann on Sunday. Oh, that's the national anthem. I gotta stand. Excuse me. The bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of free and the home of the brave. Sorry about that, folks. The anthem was playing, so I had to jump up for that. Anyway, all right, where's that? Well, the TB test. Somebody was sending me a message complaining about PD test. The TB test. Why do they do it? Some people they do it. Everybody gets a TB test. What are you talking about? The sputum test. If you got a reaction, that's why. What is Sharon taking pictures of? Yeah, I did an interview on Sunday with Ann Filion. She's in Singleton in Keokuk, Iowa. I did an interview with Ingrid last week. She's in Davenport. She's in Singleton. I don't understand. Maybe I missed something. I mean, I've been interviewing single people all along. Why do people get this concept that this is for families? Stop the nonsense. Stop the rumor train. Start watching this program and stop paying attention to groups and to freaking WhatsApp. You're being misled by those places. Of course, single people come over. In fact, the director of the refugee agency here in Harrisburg contacted me on Saturday when I was, well, he called me. I missed his call. I called him back on Saturday. I was on my way to see Ingrid. He said, we've never had a case like this. I said, what do you mean, Dr. Fong? He said, well, her age, she's alone, she's a woman. I said, yeah, that's a lot of cases from South Africa. But he said, yeah, but we usually only get families. Yeah, because these leftist organizations are trying to create racial bifurcation and cultural bifurcation in America by flooding our country with many people aren't legitimate refugees. Many of them are, but many of them aren't. And that's what they've been doing for decades here, trying to destroy the cultural assimilation of this country. It's scary how many people are trying to make money off the refugee program. Yes, it is. Read your confidentiality statements you sign. You are not allowed to share information about the process on websites like that. The case will be denied, and already in the U.S. it will be repeated. Potentially, yes. I don't know who's sharing information. It'll be another platform you'd have to monitor and keep an eye on as your reputation. Exactly. That's a good question, Heidi. Abraham Fundavestoisen, thank you for your membership, buddy. Appreciate that. Correct. No personal info will be shared if you do face being denied. So many companies have to think by sending an SMS you have communicated with you. No, it's not communication. Sending an SMS is not communication. No. Sending an email is not communication. You have to get confirmation. Corey says respect. Okay. Oh, you guys are all saluting with me. Cool. Wish I could feel the same about our national anthem. Coisas Likilele, Africa, Manapona. Bless you for respect given, Colonel. I want to cry at how when the Afrikaans part of the anthem is sung, government stops signing and just sits down. Yeah, they're just racist. I wasn't saluting with my left hand, Mark. The video is not a reflection. It's a reverse. So I was saluting with my right hand. It looks like the left hand because of the camera. Okay. Not my left hand, guys. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to tell people this is a mobile and I can't set it up with YouTube so that it does a reflection. You know, that tree branch. Anyway, so that's my right hand, not my left hand. It's my right shoulder, not my left shoulder. So what you're seeing is when I hear it goes right back into the screen. It's not reversed. So when you guys see it. Yeah, the picture's inverted. Thank you, Charles. Oh, yeah, after singleton men. Oh, okay. There are singleton men here, too. Not many of them. But, yeah, sorry. Okay, that's why I was asking. I said maybe I missed something. Thank you for clarifying that, Lynn. Yeah, there are singleton men here, too. Veroshka, okay, we'll do it. Veroshka, I'm going to try to get you by 7:15, okay? Maybe I'll get there 7 o'clock so we can do it 7:15 because I got to get back here. I can't be too late. That way we can get a full hour. So, Veroshka, I assume you're still in the hotel. I hope you're still in a hotel. Not that I want you to stay in a hotel, but I'd rather do the interview in a hotel than a newfound place with no furniture. All right, so Veroshka and I will be doing an interview in the morning. Veroshka, send me a photo you prefer that I use for the thumbnail, okay? Website for crowdfunding, refugee support group. Apologies, I changed the wording a bit. All right, so she's explaining what's going on there. Again, folks, I don't have a problem with people saying nice things about, well, I don't mind saying good things about Professor G, but yeah, I don't mind, or me. But again, it just came across wrong, and I wasn't aware of the launch. Now, to be fair, she's been working on this since June of last year, because that's the first time she contacted me. Candace is single, but you're a lady. Okay. So now what would be happening with case caught up with Church World Service? Should they be eliminated from the program? I would just be turned over to whoever gets the contract or whoever's responsibility. Simple as that. These are all digital. Your cases are all in a computer system. Son asked me the other day, what is the first thing I would do when I arrive? I told him the same thing. What's that? So I mean, why do you think they came up with the intake questionnaire? Most of the information they need, you put into the questionnaire, they have it. All they have to do is make a few corrections. It's digital. In the past, when they had to PRM email, somebody's got to type all that crap in. You know how many man hours, how much trouble that takes? That's painful, and the time it's exhausting, and it's not very efficient. That's why the intake questionnaire came along. Well, don't be surprised, no notification. How's your day going? Pretty well. We managed to get the binders done this morning, made sure our computer's still working. The exercise or the program got started fine. I met a French general. I met a Romanian general. I met a Senegalese general. And who else did I talk to this morning? Not the Australians. But yeah, I met several generals here, which is pretty cool. Yep. All right. And I did have an interview with a single man. That's correct. All right, you're still in the hotel. Great for Roshka. I'll try to be there by around 7, okay? All right. Ben says, excuse me, if you want to do a second interview with Lynn and I, we're up for it. All right, Ben, yeah, I think I have you in WhatsApp. If I do, send me a message about that, okay? It'll have to be next week, all right? Or maybe I can do something. I doubt on the weekend. I'm going to be tied up visiting refugees. By the way, if you're in Columbus, folks, I need somebody to send me a message. I need somebody to help me organize the Columbus portion of this trip, okay? Cleveland, I'm going to need help too. I know Alex is up there, but he's not a refugee. I need the refugees in Cleveland. We need to make this event so people know about it. I don't know if the people in Cleveland are in contact with each other. I don't know. And the same in Columbus. But I know there's people in Columbus because people ask me about Bexley. I'm like, ew, that's not the nicest part. Upper Arlington's much nicer. And I know Columbus. Anyway, so I need people to reach out to me so we make this worthwhile trip. Also in Erie, I don't know if it's Jason Stevens Photography that can help me set up, but we need something for Erie, okay? So we can meet, all right? I don't know if there's clusters of people in these places. In Dallas, it was easy because a lot of them are clustered near where Lily lives, a couple apartment complexes, and I was able to go visit them there. And also a bunch of them came to the meet and greet. And then Rochester, they all came to me in the hotel. That was easy. And then Twin Falls, people, I met some refugees up there. They came to Willem's house. They didn't want to go on camera, though. And, yeah, so it's kind of gone that way around the country. So anyway, thank you, Stephen van Oswegen, for your membership. Old flag story pisses me. Okay, I used to be proud. Her whole anthem, not anymore. Okay, whoops. Something in my ears there, bugs. It's insult South Africans who fought and died in 2 world wars. Total disrespect for ANC to be expected. Yep. Old flag for a school project. It was scary how violent student got day in the day. Okay. Internet's message is deleted from New York. I don't know why. Was it deleted by her? Yeah, she retracted it. Okay. Will do, says Ben. Okay, thank you, Ben. With John. Yeah, John in Denver. Yep, we did one with John. Single guy. That's right. Yep, young guy. He's got a job already. Works in a casino. He's doing well. Last I heard. Need to go again. Okay, sorry, Meerkat. You got to leave. Sorry about that. What's Church World Service issue are you not happy with, Carl Rasmus? I'm now a Wisconsinite till the day I am no longer on this planet. Love this place. Wow, Ben. Wisconsin. You like the cheesehead land. Okay. My daughter and her family is moving into their flat today. Arrived last Wednesday. Okay. It's just snot and train today. Firstborn leaving us. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Train, I mean, tears, like, is that like German in Afrikaans? Train? Träne is tears in German. So is that what that is? Is that what that is? Anyway. All right. So, yeah. So I don't know. Has anybody seen an update about the blockade? Have we sunk any Iranian commercial ships? I hope not. Trump says there's nothing to apologize for in his comments about Pope Leo. Well, I agree. You know, people said he lambasted the Pope, but the comments I saw always said was the truth. You know, Leo would never have been the Pope if Trump hadn't been the president, because the Catholic Church hates America and is trying to undermine the Trump presidency, just like the Democrats, just like the media. And again, that's not a trope. Trump pronounced ah. What's pronounced ah? Träne? Is that how you say Träne? Well, it's pronounced Träne in German because it has an umlaut, and it means tears. UK and France are not, well, UK is not participating. France has been non-committal, but they haven't said no. We'll see. But again, a blockade is an act of war. So if these countries get involved in it and they do the blockade, then they're in war. So, you know, I wanted to move. I'm staying. I'm simply moved out of the area I didn't like and made a world. Well, it does make a world of difference when you move to a good neighborhood. If we can get Botman out of Erie, he's going to have a great time. Pennsylvania is a decent place to live, as long as you're not in Philadelphia or parts of Pittsburgh or Allentown, Altoona, places that time has passed by. Anyway, this jacket was made in 2021, June 2021. Have I had it that long? don't know if I had that long. UK is sinking like the Titanic. In fact, it is. Yep, the caliphate of the Celtic Anglo Caliphate, led by King Sausage Fingers. Yep. Yeah, Starmer, I don't know how much longer Starmer's going to last. I mean, people are going to wake up to him eventually. Meanwhile, in Ireland, who knows what's going on over there? Those people are getting crazy. So they're all upset about a 20% increase in the price of petrol, but they were silent when the price of petrol went up by more than double during Biden's regime. Yeah, because people aren't bright enough to make the connections between rainbows, unicorns, and green energy fantasy and the cost of petrol. Oh, Carl says, should it be limited? What happens? I already answered that question, man. Were you not paying attention? What happens? They simply get picked up, whoever takes the responsibility. Do you think the cases belong to Church World Service? This is government information. It doesn't belong to them. Ireland is a bigger mess than the UK. You're 100% right about that. It's not even safe to go to Ireland. I'm glad Rosie O'Donnell went there. Said Britain and France will head a coalition to stand against USA's blockade. The 2C TV is full of crap. There's no coalition to stand. That's not going to happen. Did 2C TV actually say that? Was that his prediction? If it is, he has no idea what he's talking about. So what he's saying is that 2 NATO allies are going to lead a coalition to stop the U.S. Is that what he really said, or is somebody misstating what he said? Professor G said they're being racist and purposely staging the processing of purpose. Well, I have no evidence of that. That's his analysis. The lady you interviewed last night's an asset to the USA. Are you talking about Anne Filion? Yes, she is. Look, that's Professor G's analysis. I have no evidence of it. I have, if he's talking about the national level with Church World Service, they definitely have a problem with the Trump administration. They're definitely anti-American. They're definitely anti-Christian, definitely anti-white, and definitely scumming money off the taxpayer to the tune of $189 million per year. That's that. I don't dispute that. I've said that for months about Church World Service. But to say that they're intentionally sabotaging the process in South Africa, I don't have evidence of that. I have evidence of ineptitude. Guys, you forget. Unlike all these pontificators who run their mouths and talk about this program and they're subject matter experts and they throw shade on me and lie about me, I've actually been there and done that. I was a government technical monitor on Department of State contracts. I ran contracts on the ground level. I had contractors, multi-million-dollar contractors who were responsible to me on a daily basis. I oversaw for the contracting officer. I was in the Department of Defense, or then it's Department more now. The contracting officer is the one with the authority, with the warrant, with the bond that allows them to sign and transfer money to these contracts. The government contracting officer in each of the departments has, in the Department of Defense, what's called a contracting officer's technical representative, or a coder. In the State Department at the time, they didn't have that name. They had something called a government technical monitor, which was the exact same role. I was a contracting officer's technical representative in the Army, and I was a government technical monitor also later in the State Department in Liberia. I oversaw contracts. The contractors had to answer to me. And there was a problem when I arrived in Liberia. PAE and DynCorp were at each other's throats. These two companies were competing with each other, acting as if, well, we're going to outdo the other guy. Well, the problem with that is that they were undermining the program. So I pulled both of my predecessor didn't do this, nothing against my predecessor, but every Wednesday, in the middle of the week, so we could affect change, we still had 2 days in the week to get something done. Every Wednesday, I demanded that we had a 4 p.m. in the afternoon meeting between both contractors and myself. We sat down and we ironed out the issues. And I told both of them, because a contract was coming up for renewal, both their contracts. And I said, past performance is a key indicator of future contract award. I said that for 3 weeks. Finally, the lights came on, the bell went off. They realized, guess what? This guy has the power to get my contract not renewed. Maybe I should start being responsive to what he's asking for because it's in the contract. And not only were they responsive, but DynCorp went over and above. DynCorp gave us courses that weren't even in the contract because of the personnel around who weren't engaged. And rather than sitting and doing nothing, they worked contracts for us to do training programs for an NCO course, for other courses. They were brilliant. Jeff Rodriguez, what a rock star. What a rock star. So these people don't know what they're talking about. I've been there. I've done that. I know what happens. And I will tell you what. Somebody's not doing their job. Someone is not overseeing these contracts. And I know from the State Department, my past experience, they do a piss poor job of it. It was funny because my predecessor had the hardest time being certified as a government technical monitor because he wasn't a State Department employee. He was a Navy officer. But I had done this before. I had my certificates and had just done refresher training in Tunisia at a conference right before I came to Liberia, and I gave that stuff to the State Department, and also people checked around about me and found out that I knew what I was doing, and they granted me and gave me a letter approving me as that government technical monitor from the day I arrived in Liberia. And I was overseeing these contracts, and I was making sure that the taxpayer got what we were paying for. And then we got some. $253 million of contracts I oversaw in Liberia. $3 billion in the National Security Agency. So these people that run their mouths about these programs have no experience, don't know what they're talking about. They talk out their ass. You know, this whole thing about, and this is not an attack on other content creators, so don't run off and tell the content creator, but that other content creator is being told by some refugees, none of whom have told me this, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Other refugees are telling that content creator, they're telling her that their agency said they have to hire lawyers to get their green card. That's BS. All you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go to the USCIS website and look what it says. It's free. There's no fee. The $1,440 per refugee doesn't have to be paid by refugees. There is a piece of the form that says an attorney, but authorized a certified official can also do that. These refugee agencies can do that. That was one of the key questions I asked of Milan Devatak when I was at the Africa Community Center in Las Vegas. I said, do you help the refugees? Is that part of what you're supposed to do? Get their green cards when the 12 months comes up? He says, absolutely, we do that. We help them all get their green cards. So why are refugees being told that you have to hire lawyers? This is intentional in my view. Now, somebody's going to say, well, yeah, but the big, beautiful bill. Well, if the big, beautiful bill changed that, then USCIS website must be updated. It's not updated. And also, if you do a Google search or you do an AI assisted search, because I've done all of this, plus read the law, all of them still say that it's free, that you don't pay for it. So my point with all this is that instead of listening to bullshit, listen to the facts. I give you the receipts. I tell you where to go. I tell you the information. If I don't know, I'm honest with you. And occasionally, like the whole episode about the cap, the gentleman got pissed off because he said I insulted him, which I didn't. He inferred incorrectly I was insulting him when I refuted that the cap won't be busted. He said that it's never been busted in history. I said, yes, it has. That's not true. That's simply untrue. And he took offense to that. Well, I've actually apologized to the guy on air, even though I felt he had no reason to take offense. And then he sent me a long email telling me how he was right and I was wrong. But all he did was reinforce the fact that I was correct. My point with the cap is that when they want to go beyond the cap, they do so. They do so. It's not written in stone. If it were written in stone, the number would be the same every year. If the law said 10,000 per year, that's all it would ever be. But the administration sets the level, and they can go around it, or they can raise it, or they can lower it, or they can not fulfill it. His argument was it's never been broken. Well, technically the number they give has never been broken, but 168,000 Afghans came in, and he said, yes, under a humanitarian program. I said, yes, as refugees. That's the part of the law that allowed them in here. And then all these Venezuelans, 602,000 are here under temporary protected status. And they get the same rights as refugees. So 6-1, potato, call it what you want. But if the administration wants more South Africans to come here, they'll get them here. Either by raising the cap, ignoring the cap, or going around the cap. Now, maybe they don't want more refugees here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see come September or when the allocation is exhausted. That's what he said live. Who said live? Yes, he said it. What, you talking about Professor G? He's never been live. Mr. Sergeant Duck told you this was going on with these cases. What's going on with what cases? Oh, that's what Tusi said. Starmer flew the Arab states and said they agreed on a peace agreement. I don't care if Tusi TV's pro-Trump, but the UK and the French are not going to lead an international maritime effort to interdict the United States in the Gulf. That is not going to happen. You don't have to worry about America leaving NATO. That will break NATO. That's a violation. These are mutually defensive countries. You can't attack a NATO country. This is one of the problems with including all these Eastern European countries in here who have long-standing animosities. You run a risk. But it was a calculated risk. They let them in. I don't know what Tusi said. I wasn't there, but you're saying he said it. That's nonsense. Now, did he report what maybe someone in Britain said? Maybe. But if that's his analysis, that's very questionable. Not going to happen. I don't think people understand how the world works. The UK said in Parliament today that it is illegal for the U.S. is doing, and they're working on a plan with France to stop the U.S. blockade. Okay, that's very different. UK Parliament is talking about it. So it's not illegal. A blockade is not illegal. It's not. It's an act of war. It's not illegal. And the British are stupid. in Parliament. They're dumbasses that don't know anything. A blockade is not illegal. It is an act of war. So you can argue about whether the United States should be at war with Iran, but they declared war on us 47 years ago. But if that's what the UK Parliament said, that's what they're talking about. But they're running their mouths. Petition that they say is white Afrikaners allowed and not the others. Well, I don't know about a petition for Church World Services. I haven't seen that. I check their website occasionally. Do they have a petition up now? Then I will land-base them. I will land-base them. Starmer is trying his stolen valor to strike. Yeah, exactly. Varsity Cup, 17 minutes. Is this the final? It's the final between Tux and Northwest. JD Gray, mom was in car accident. Oh my gosh, 70, some brain damage. She's normal but cannot live alone. Is completely dependent on me. Can't depend on you. I don't know what UIQ is. Only SP. I don't know what any of that is. I think you got typos there. I'm sorry to hear that, JD Gray. D Thorne gave 100 rands. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to hit the button. Yeah. Sorry, I feel you don't understand how serious problem is for some people. Really? You really believe that? Okay, well, Mr. Sergeant Duck, you come in here and you constantly put non sequiturs unrelated to the chat, and I have not blocked you. And now you're accusing me of not understanding how serious this is. Are you freaking serious? Are you eating cornflakes that someone pissed in? Seriously, you're actually going to say that to me. You're going to whine to me that I don't appreciate and understand. You have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. When people were stranded, who did they call on? Me. Who fixed it? Me. When people had no food, who did they call on? Me. Who arranged food for them through food stocks? Me. When people didn't have housing, who did they call on? I couldn't accommodate all of them, but they called on me. You're going to tell me that I don't have empathy? Please. You know what, buddy? Footsack. Calling me sir doesn't excuse the insult. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Where are you hiding your yacht? Yacht? What yacht are you talking about? All right, take care, Paula. Chris, I'm back in. Just want to find out something. We're going to apply as soon as the family is 7. 5 adults, 2 children. 4 adults have work officers in the U.S. Would having a combination make it easier for refugee application? Not necessarily. But it will make it easier to process your application. Okay. When you're in Liberia, I was in Liberia from 2007 into 2008, 18 months, rebuilding the Armed Forces of Liberia. Who was that from? Abraham, okay. That's why my mouth is shut when it comes to this. My friends think it's an immigration program. It's not an immigration program, Grok. That's the problem. Now, having jobs won't get you here sooner, but it may make it easy to get here. What's laughable, Vanessa? Do not rant. What do you mean do not rant? You don't know what a rant is if you think that's a rant. Okay, so again, Carl Erasmus, you personally think the CWS issue should be taken seriously. What Church World Service issue? The allegations by Professor G? I'm not attacking Professor G, but they're allegations. I have reported Church World Services fraud. I have reported their misconduct and maltreatment of refugees. I have railed and reported endlessly to the U.S. government since last year when they got the contract about their failure to plan, their incompetence when it comes to geography. What issue are you talking about? Who's not taking it seriously? Some of this really starts to piss me off. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Why didn't, thank you very much. That's an obvious question, Vanessa, and I'm going to use that. I'll give you credit. Why didn't the French and the Brits stop the Iranians from blockading with mines? The U.S. is just going to stop ships. They're not going to blow anybody up. Wow. You're right, Vanessa. It's anti-American. They want to stop Trump, and I hope their governments collapse. I haven't seen the petition. Somebody send me the link. There you go. Corey says, oh my word. From what I've read earlier, U.S. is not blockading the strait, but rather Iranian ports. Correct. That is correct. If you care, my question is, will she be allowed to go with us, or is her car accident damage? No, okay. Oh my gosh. You must be new, JD Gray. You must be new. What have I said? Can anybody jump in here in the chat? What have I said since February 7th last year? It doesn't matter if you're 8 or 88. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. It doesn't matter if you are white, Indian, colored, or even black in some cases. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you have dementia, if you have cancer, if you're missing limbs, if you're wheelchair bound, if you need constant care. It does not matter. We don't give refugee status to people to come work in this country. We do expect refugees are able to work, but that's not what it's about. It's not an immigration program. If your mother has health-related issues and she's not capable and you're your caregiver, then she goes on your case as your dependent, even though she's older. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter, folks. I've said this thousands of times. You must be new to the program, JD Gray. I've said this thousands of times. And we have proof of this. We have children who have come over who have autism. We have people who've come over, I believe, I can confirm, a case of dementia. I'm still trying to make sure that was the information I had. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Charles Van Otselen, not that people know this, he has cancer. He's coming over if he ever get his passport from Home Affairs. It doesn't matter. Many of the South Africans who arrive here have had such piss poor health care in South Africa that once they get here and they get a thorough examination, we find out they've got all kinds of problems. You all got PTSD. Several people walked over with cancer, one with Lou Gehrig's disease. The list is endless of the health problems. It's costing us as taxpayers a fortune to take you in. But it costs us a fortune to take in the Congolese and the Kyrgyz and the Afghans and the Burmese. So it has no impact whatsoever. Mr. Sergeant Duck says, wow. Wow, you insult me and you're saying wow? Yeah, I answer all these questions on Sunday. Correct. Reg Dodd, yeah, I printed out a bunch of those yesterday. Somebody said Steve Hofmeyer. What about Steve Hofmeyer? Thanks, Roy. I wish people would just wrap their minds around all the efforts you put and they need to educate themselves before commenting. Yeah, it's not a petition that Professor G talked about. It's the actual wording. Thank you. I don't know about any petition. Yeah. K-Stock and CWS is using to sue the states shows their racism. Okay. Well, I need to look at his video then. Northwest, 3 tucks nothing. Okay. What if a Chinese ship doesn't comply? Well, if they come from an Iranian port, then they're going to be stopped. What if CWS leaked their info out of spite? Well, then people will go to jail, Mr. Sergeant Duck. That's a fair question. They will go to jail. They will go to jail. And I'm not talking about the Kenyans if they did it in South Africa or in Kenya. I'm talking about the directors of CWS. They'll go to jail. It's a criminal act. It is a criminal act. This isn't South Africa. This isn't the Biden administration. We don't pussyfoot around with stuff. You commit a crime, you do the time. That was the song on Beretta. If you can't do the crime, don't do the. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Who's being arrested? Yeah, go watch my library. Go back to my playlist and start at the beginning of February last year. Watch the video about benefits and entitlements, about background investigations, about health screening. All that stuff is there. And most of it's still true. What if you're 80 and gay? If you're 80 and gay, good for you. Do you sing with the Village People? YMCA. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're down and short on the dough, you can go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you. They did not complain when Iran blocked, but they're complaining about the U.S. Oh, is that what Tusi said? Okay. Carl says, can't argue with that reasoning. Thank you. Home affairs is just a bad headache, but we have to go through it. Yeah, that's true, unfortunately. You're very welcome. Who is that, Ian? Okay, the IR agency is trying to get money through cheating ships to pay ransom. Apparently, they're paying Bitcoin, I heard. Should watch your show and say, well, they do actually, Mark. There are U.S. officials who watch my show. I know. And I don't disclose who I'm in contact with the U.S. government, but I have been in contact with some people, some parts of the U.S. government. Some, they do watch it. Yep. Well, she's 90. I think she's 89 or 90. That is Lili Fandeplas's grandmother. She came over. Yep. Oh, Steve discussed one of my videos this morning. Why is he discussing Ronaldo? I'm going to have a conversation with Steve Hoffmeyer. Stop promoting Ronaldo. Yeah, Steve commented on my video. Let's refer back to your video where you outed first, gave the credit. No, he always does. Professor G gives credit. And Professor G says something interesting or profound or unique. I give him credit too. He's a straight shooter, and I like that. Yep. So, post a video on the moderator's group. Thank you very much. It's racist to my family for not helping my family with the translation since December. I don't think so, Anna Kruger. I'm sorry. As far as I know, translating documents is your responsibility. It's not the U.S. government's responsibility. Why does that make them racist? If I'm wrong, I'll stand on correction, but I'm pretty confident that it's your responsibility to translate documents, not the U.S. government's. So how are they racist to you? You have to get it translated, and you have to do it by only an authorized translator, which is expensive. His TV is better before his numbers grew. Well, my program hasn't got new. It's strong all along, even when my numbers grew. Becoming a rapper. That's not a rap. 5 minutes of funk. This ain't no junk. So pull your bottom off a tree stump. Ladies real pretty. City to city. Well, now we get down to the nitty gritty. From the bottom to the top to the bottom. 4 minutes left. 5 minutes of funk. This ain't jump. Pull your bottom off a tree stump. That's rapping. Carl, you didn't rile me up. No, Mr. Sergeant Duck riled me up. I'm not even riled up, guys. I'm taking advantage of all this and betting on the midterm outcomes on Polymarket. Well, Sir Glenn Quagmire, maybe you'll make a lot of money. That Polymarket is where people make money, but I don't gamble. Life is a big enough gamble. Yeah, YMCA. Now, there's another Village People song. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. Yeah, the Village People. That was in the YMCA, and he has the time of his life. Okay. Cool. Cheers. Let me spend some time with my daughter. Okay. See you later. Yes, it's a tie I'm wearing. Yes. Very lovely tie. Village People do love Trump. They let him use this. They let him use the song. I must say, I love you, Colonel. You passionate. One moment, laugh, and sing the next. Yep, that's me. That's me. Who is Steve Hoffman? Oh, Matthew did. I think alive between your. Well, that's coming. It's coming. Professor G didn't want to do it for a long time. They finally asked me to do it, but I was traveling. Then I had War College. He can only do it on Tuesday, so can't be. It might be next Tuesday, but if not, the following Tuesday we'll finally do a live. Okay. No, you can't drop a voice note, Carl. So unfortunately, but they didn't send her the link. Well, that doesn't surprise me. See, that's where Church World Service is screwing this up. Trump should not have attacked Tucker, Megyn, Candace, Alex Jones. They run MAGA media. I disagree, Sir Glenn Quagmire. You shouldn't allow them to get away with the bullshit that they're doing. Tucker Carlson is one of the loudest proponents. I saved the video of him a couple years ago talking about Iran is a pestilence. They need to be taken out. They can never be allowed to have nuclear weapons. And then he's attacking Trump for doing exactly what he was advocating. Tucker Carlson has changed his opinion more often than people change their underwear. So, you know, it's insane. So Candace Owens, same way. Alex Jones, I don't really pay attention to. But all these people have betrayed the MAGA movement. They claim they're the MAGA movement. They've betrayed it. Nothing Trump is doing is out of the norm. Everything Trump is talking about, he talked about in his campaign. He talked about eliminating the Iranian nuclear threat. He talked about stopping illegal immigration in this country. He talked about turning the clock back against the race hustling and DEI that Barack Obama inaugurated in this country. Nothing he's doing. And all these people are turning on him. For clicks, for money. Shame on them. I'm not happy with Trump, what he did on Easter Sunday. I said so. That nonsense that President Trump did on Easter Sunday about, praise be to Allah nonsense and putting that crap out on Easter Sunday. No, I disagree with that. President Trump, what he's doing now with attacking Pope Leo. I can't stand the Pope and the Catholic Church, but I mean, that's inappropriate for him to do. But I criticize him. These people are just being gratuitous. No, he wasn't wrong. And I don't really care. Trump is not going to serve again. He'll be done. So if they want to tarnish Trump, that's what they're doing because they can get away with it. It's cheap. But you notice they're not attacking J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio because they're front runners to be the next president. So none of those people are attacking them. Notice that. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. There's plenty of stuff you could criticize Marco Rubio about. You'd be wrong, but there's plenty to criticize about. There's a few things to criticize J.D. Vance, but not one of them is criticizing either one of those people. Yes, Hungary's gotten globalist again, and the Hungarians will suffer. Their country will be overrun by rapacious thieves from all over the world. Yep. They said they'll get a translate to December, nothing. Who said? Okay, Anna, are you saying the U.S. government promised you to get a translation? Okay, then maybe I'm wrong, but that's not my understanding of the program. My understanding is that you're responsible for it. So you're telling me the U.S. government promised you they would do a translation in December of your document. That one I find hard to believe, but I'll take your word for it. Send me an email. Let me look into it. Discriminatory and illegal manner asserting that the prioritizes resum of 3,000 Afghans will exclude non-white refugees. Well, first off, that's a lie. That's factually incorrect. And so that case will be thrown out on its merits. This refugee program intake questionnaire doesn't have an option for legal guardianship under parents, so I put foster. I have no idea what you're asking about, and this is not the time for me to answer it. I can't see. Will the real Colonel Wyatt stand up? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Heidi? What do you mean? When you were saying who they're going to call, the Ghostbusters song popped in my head. It's a court document like a divorce decree. You can have it translated at the court for a small fee. There you go. There you go, Vanessa. So, Anna, are you looking at that? Oh, the live would be awesome. Just wanted to show Colonel what's going on with the petition. No, that's fine. Thank you for sharing. Tired of listening to crying babies. Why didn't you send it to the mods? Okay. Send what to the mods? The leaves on this will be coming out soon. The buds are already approached. It's mid-April. They'll be coming out very soon. By the end of April, there'll be leaves on. The other trees are already getting leaves. Each tree is different. Why are you so dressed up? Because I'm at the war college. Gosh, you guys don't pay attention to what I'm doing. I've said this over and over again, and I get 3 weeks of this. 1 week in March and 2 weeks in April. This is the execution week. During the execution week, I had to be dressed up. Better dressed chimpanzee. Got to be the better dressed chimpanzee out here. So, you know, we present in front of general officers from all over the world, so you got to look sharp. And they said to ignore it. I just wanted to give Colonel what do you want to say? Thank you. Your pessimism. You're fine to be pessimistic. That's fine. I'm a pessimist. Tucker Guitarlson, they're laughing. I received a message from Church Russo saying that my case is on hold due to custody issues. All I've had is my first phone call. I'm not aware of any custody issues. They probably mixed your case up. Okay, Charleston changes his colors more than a chameleon. Yep. Stop gambling if the outcome is so clear. Only betting on double-digit leads. Okay, well good luck with winning. Okay. Yeah, Tucker is an interesting guy, but he does change his opinion. Fascinating that podcasters think they're more qualified than presidents. Yeah, well, I agree. I didn't question Trump attacking Iran. Nope. Thank you, Vanessa Blossom, for your membership. Just wanted to know what would happen to us still here at part of the program if they do leak our info. Okay, Mr. Sergeant Duck, that's another good question. Thank you when you ask good questions, man. I'm glad I didn't ban you, but you need to be careful. That's a good question again. That's two good questions you've had here. What will happen to you if they leak your information? I suspect the U.S. government will go into overdrive to get you out of the country. That's my suspicion. I have no way to confirm that, but that would be my expectation. I mean, I can't confirm that because if the U.S. government confirmed that for me, that would give away sources and methods. And so I'm saying I would expect that now that you're put in jeopardy. But I mean, Dante von Vijk is not here yet, to my knowledge. And you want to talk about somebody's in jeopardy. The EFF are hunting him down, trying to find him. There's people actively trying to kill him, and he's still in South Africa. You're really unfair. They said so. I couldn't help my family because we weren't allowed to. Excuse me? You were really unfair. They said so. I'm unfair. See, here, okay, I'm unfair. I'm sorry, and aren't you the person we jumped in the middle of the night to get you help with your car when you were trapped in a gang-infested place that was robbed the next day? Didn't we get one of the Wyatt Army to take you? I mean, I'm confused. Maybe this is a different Anna Kruger. Maybe I'm lost. I'm unfair. How am I unfair? What did I say? I said that's news to me. I said that's not how I understand things. I also said I believe you. How am I unfair? What the hell is going on today? What is with this nonsense? That's the second, third time I've been attacked here. Unfair? How am I unfair? People don't hear what they want to hear, so I'm unfair. I'm evil. I'm a liar. Good Lord. Seriously? Seriously? Good luck at your interview. I couldn't help my family because we weren't allowed to. Weren't allowed to what? Yes, I'm unfair. Okay, well, then that's your opinion. Then why are you here? Then why are you here? Wow, okay, so Tika von Rensburg said it translated documents with Chat GPT and accepted. That's interesting. I didn't know they do that. Thought you had to have an official translation. Anna seeks an interpreter for a friend. Well, she didn't, for her family. She didn't ask me that. She said I was unfair. I don't know what an ISO job is. Sorry. Most people are not willing to do the right thing because it's difficult. Most people are comfortable. When you get out of your comfort zone, you actually find out you're capable of. Yeah, I agree. President arrested 9 years for possession. Could that be why our case is starting to be? Yes, it could be. Particularly if he didn't disclose it. Did he disclose in the interview? If he disclosed in the interview, then it probably shouldn't be a major issue unless he had like 8 pounds of DAGA or something like that. But yes, it could be a reason. Also could be incompetence on the part of USCIS or Church World Services. Iran and Venezuela correction will be the return of the petrodollar. Tucker's son is working for JD. Nope, Colonel, definitely not. Any documents in Afrikaans must be translated in English and you must pay for it yourself. Trust me. Well, that's what I thought, but I'm being unfair, Rena. I'm being unfair. I mean, again, because I stated what I know or believe to be the truth, but I'm being unfair. How am I being unfair? I'm not making anybody translate anything. I'm not making you go here or go there. How am I being unfair? I don't understand that. How am I being unfair? Please, somebody explain that to me. Do Microsoft, Amazon, and KFC? Yes, they do. They do. They do, Sir Glenn Quagmire, unless they use the EEIP program, and then they give 25% instead of 30%. They do. They have to have local partners. How do you think the Cyril Ramaphosa got to have McDonald's? Because they got local partners. Execution week. Oh, we line up crybabies and we shoot them. No, it's the week of the exercise. What is a war clinic? I don't know what a war clinic is. What are you talking about? Translator for interview. What now? Okay. Well, that's not what you said. You said translate documents. You said translate documents, and I didn't say you're a liar. You're calling me unfair. What the hell? So what are you saying? You're saying that you went for a UCSIS interview, and you needed an interpreter. That's not a translator. If you're being interviewed, it's not a translator. It's a fucking interpreter. There's a difference. It's not the same thing. Translator translates documents. They take words and correct them into the other language. An interpreter interprets the words being said into another language. That's a completely different thing. What the hell? Gee, many crickets. It's not even the same thing. Does a war college pay well? Well, it's a matter of opinion. What job you're doing. There's all kinds of jobs. There's professor jobs. There's admin jobs. There's security jobs. Yeah, but I don't work at the war college. I'm providing a service through a contractor. Annette Kruger, you were talking about an interpreter. I'm not talking about an interpreter. I'm talking about a translator. You said translator. It's not the same thing. There's no misunderstanding. I've been told I was unfair. I'm not unfair. I'm answering the question. You don't like the answer. You said a translator. I said my understanding is that you have to pay for translating your documents on your own. The government doesn't do that for you. They're not going to translate documents for 50,000 Afrikaners. It ain't going to happen. And I was very patient about it while you rail against me. Mark, it's a scenario that actually I wind up writing it, but it's based off a different scenario. So we're just changing the geographic region. When I started doing this a few years back, it was based on Africa, so it was great. It was easy. Then they decided to change it to Southeast Asia. Although I know a lot about Southeast Asia, I had to brush up on some things. Now they want to change it to European scenario, so we're getting stuck with rewriting the scenario. So, yeah, that's what's happening. Is 39 too old to join the Navy? It probably will be, although the U.S. Army has raised theirs to 42. That's rare. That'll probably change soon. So normally that is too old. Okay, Lynn is saying Anna needs an interpreter. Why does she need an interpreter? Why is she the only South African that needs an interpreter? I'm very confused. We have people that speak Afrikaans that work in the embassy. Are they not available? And we weren't talking about an interpreter. We're talking about a translator. Very different thing. Yeah, they're translators, the interview property. So that doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't understand that either. After thousands of people have come over here, we have a case of somebody who needed an interpreter at the embassy. What, are you speaking Portuguese? That's a legitimate question. What's the language barrier? What do we do if they mess up our cases? How do we get help? Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean they mess up our case? That doesn't help me. Send me an email with your case number, explain the details. I'll see if I can reach out to somebody. That's all I can say. Okay, again, Anna is not asking for translation. Apparently she wants a interpreter. Carl says he's been treated fairly last time. Yeah, I answer your question, Carl. I think people are misunderstanding each other. There's confusion because I'm confused too. Thank you very much, Vanner. Colonel means he earned that title and badge through very hard training and super hard work and dedication. Thank you. All right, I'm done answering this question. It's just becoming silly, and I'm way behind the chat. So I'm done. If we can't state the facts, and we're going to sit here and play semantic games, a translator is a person who takes documents and converts it from one language into the other language without losing the sense, the tense, the time, so that it makes sense. An interpreter is someone. I've been an interpreter. So there's a conversation here, two people. He doesn't speak German, so the other person speaks English. And instead of saying what he said, I say it as if I'm that person, and the person should look the person. Ja, herzlichen Gruß. Es freut mich, heute Sie kennenzulernen. Und ich bedanke mich, dass Sie bei uns diesen Besuch gemacht haben. Unser System ist etwas Neues und wir möchten sehr gern ein neues Investment von eurer Society GmbH. Okay? That's what an interpreter does. That's what an interpreter does. That's not a translator. A translator is something very different. A translator you can hold in your hand from Berlitz. You can get little devices. You can use an app on the phone. That's a translator. Is your weekend trip planning out? No, I haven't even. I've been so busy. And I'm trying to plan the interview for tomorrow with Ingrid, which should be awesome. I think you guys are going to enjoy the Ingrid interview. So I get up really early for that. No, my trip is not. I'm not hearing from anybody in Columbus or Cleveland other than Alex, who's not even a refugee, or Erie, about helping me get something set up. I mean, traveling all that way, 6 hours driving, and I don't know where refugees are at. That's not really worth my time. So I've got a lot to accomplish before Friday, and it's Monday. So we'll sort it out. It usually comes together. So all the trips so far have. No, there's no misunderstanding. Ich habe die Nase voll. Ich rede über diese Themen nicht mehr. Ja, ich habe die Nehme. Ein Übersetzer ist etwas anderes. Ja, Dokumenten, das ist ein Übersetzer. Ja, ja. Ich bin fertig. Vollkommen fertig. Anyway, now the wind's kicking up. What's that all about? I'll put my jacket back on. Woo, look at that wind. Look at that wind. Woo, God bless. Can't get it on because of the wind. And now it's all wrapped up on my armpit. What the hell? Woo, windy out here, guys. Windy, windy, windy. Okay. I am curious, though, about a visit in December in which somebody said that they will provide an interpreter. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, neither here nor neither here nor there. How will it work if you go to the U.S. as a refugee but can't speak English? Oh, it works very well. People just get little clusters and hang out with their own language and don't assimilate in this country and don't contribute anything to this country. Real refugees learn the language, not people who scam the system. Look at Ilhan Omar. She speaks the language very well. Just laugh, never a dull moment. Crying, laughing. I can't see, is it Labakab? 140. You go, Colonel. I'm going to bribe when I get there. Okay, thank you for the 140 Rand. Mindri Lambrich is here. She'll be coming back on the program sometime soon. What do you teach at Work College? Sorry. Oh, well, when I was a professor here, I taught macroeconomics, economics. I also taught national security strategy and policy. I taught regional studies for Africa. And so all of that and other classes too. I did security cooperation classes. I did exercise. I did all kinds of things. But my main focus was geopolitical and regional studies. And then now I work as a contractor. I don't work for the War College. So the guy who threatened me for the War College, I don't work for them. He's stupid. He's off base. Yeah, so I provide a service. That's all. So. Well, I appreciate that Zandri van Onselen that she was thinking in Afrikaans, but that doesn't call for saying that I'm unfair and then attacking me. It doesn't call for that. That's unnecessary. I was very patient and explained what I understood to be the truth. She was the one that was mistaken. If I were mistaken, I would apologize. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, this is the problem with the text. I tell people that. You surely are cracking me the hell up, some of these folks. Well, Anna appreciates what I do too, but she's a little confused right now, and she's angry because she thinks I'm fobbing her off. I'm not fobbing her off. I'm asking you all not to be beaten up on her, okay? She's confused, and she unintentionally misled me. That wasn't her intent. And then she took offense because I reacted to the word she said. Translation. My understanding of translation is you must get your documents translated yourself. And many people who've gone have told me that's their been experience. So I have no basis for changing that. There aren't many refugees in Tennessee. There's a few there. 5-4 jacket. I don't know what a 5-4 jacket is. Warum schreiben die Leute keine ordentliche Nachrichten und fangen dann Streit an? Keine Ahnung, Arno. Ich habe ja gar keine Ahnung. Power was off. Oh, that sucks. But there's no load shedding. Yeah, the weather's getting dark. It was raining earlier. Now you look like Professor Chris with the jacket. No, I'm not having a Joe Biden moment. The wind was strong, man. No, an interpreter does not translate. He interprets. Okay, fair enough. He interprets and then translates. But a translator is not an interpreter. So you can play word games, sir, Glenn Quagmire, and you are correct. However, a translator is not an interpreter. An interpreter does translate and interprets. That's why they're called an interpreter. How does he get decided where FG family placed? That's another question I've answered millions and millions and millions of times, and I've got videos on that. It depends on the circumstances, absorptive capacity, your family size, resources, if you've been in America before, if you have a tie here, all of that plays a role. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot. You just wind up where they send you. It really hurts my feelings, you know, tell me I'm unfair. Why would I be unfair to somebody we jump through hoops to help late at night? Why would I be unfair to somebody like that? I don't understand this. You South Africans have this freaking the world is against me attitude. Why is it the people that have stood by you and helped you over and over and over again, you get bent out of shape because you misunderstand something? I don't understand that mindset. It's insane. It's insane. No, I have no idea why no refugees go in Louisiana. Maybe there's no agencies there that want to handle them. I don't know. Why? Do you want to go there? Tux leads. Ooh. A politician. German is not that good. My father spoke it a bit. That's okay. It was fine. I understood what you were trying to say. I'm not celebrating 125,000 subscribers. I'm doing consulting work. Yeah, I don't know, when you say UCOID qualifications, in what field? They probably have to meet anything has to meet U.S. standards. I don't know how close UK standards are to the U.S. We use the same measuring system, so I'm not really sure what you're referring to. Not all South Africans don't be unfair. Okay, I'm being unfair now, Rian. I just don't get it. Language is easy. You owe no one, Colonel. Thank you. You're very welcome. All right. Anyway, guys, what's this? That's coming up. Okay. I've been at this for an hour and a half. That's long, and I should be doing it. I need to get back to work. That's a long break here. I've combined two of my breaks so I could do the stream. So thanks a lot for tuning in. And if you're still here, no harm, no foul. Just next time, don't get bent out of shape. I wasn't being unfair. You said a translator, and a translator translates documents. And I understood you wanted documents translated. Then later on, you're talking about an interpreter. I don't know what you want. And I don't understand why the embassy told you that. You would be the first of the thousands of refugees whom I've talked to who had to do that. I'll be on tonight for Night Owls. So I don't understand. I'm asking you. But my understanding, and several people in the chat have said they have the same experience, you must get your documents translated yourself. It's your expense if there's something that's not in the right language. That's my understanding of the process. And me telling you that doesn't make me unfair. It makes me just stating what I know to be the truth. If that truth is incorrect, then we'll correct the record. Anyway, thank you all so much. Be sure to hit the like button. Cheers, everybody. Is Ronaldo here? Bye.